same color today, though.
Yes, we do. We do. We've got this white windows. Are we on?
I think we're on.
We're on. We're on. I didn't even, I thought somebody, my daughter gave me an idea, but she never typed it to me. But there's been so much.
Mm-hmm. So what is yours? What do you want to discuss?
Oh, I just think it's funny just listening to all these pundits going, and I really, it's kind of funny because if I took the side of somebody like, I don't want this change, I'd rather pay more taxes.
And I'd rather them be stealing from us.
Yeah,
I don't like Elon checking anything because, you know, he might find something and we might actually get more money. No, I mean, it makes no sense.
I want somebody to tell me to do everything, so I don't have to think for myself.
And we don't want, you know, we still would like them to be sending money over to tree rats to see if they have or bisexual. I don't know. It was so crazy, so many of the things.
There were so many.
It was so many nutty things.
So many crazy things. We can't keep up with it.
No, you can't.
I've discovered that if I go on my phone and I put the news on, I can listen to the news while I shower and catch up on everything.
Well, one of the things that got me was, and which I had never thought about, when they said that Elon doesn't have clearance. He's a rocket man. He has one of the highest clearances ever. He makes rockets for the government people. I mean, so what kind of a clearance do you want? Plus, he's a businessman. He's not actually handling the money, people. He's having oversight. I mean, you know, we call those internal auditors. And the government apparently has no internal auditors, so that's what they're basically doing. Mm-hmm. They're doing an internal audit to say, okay, why'd you do this? Or, you know, if you weren't supposed to spend this, or where's your matching backup paperwork? I don't see anything wrong with it. And I also do not have a problem with him, Elon, and Trump asking for you to give me 5 things you did that accomplished something last week.
Can you?
I've got no right.
You're getting paid to do a job. Do you take note of what you're doing?
I mean, if you can't give me 5 things that you've done, I think it was Alina Babic, she said that I can tell you 5 things in 5 minutes that I've done since the time I walked in the door at the office. Exactly. I mean, most people can tell you that, hey, you know, hey, it was a busy week, this is what I got done. You know, and yeah, do
why
things get left
accountable?
I don't understand.
That's called accountability.
But see, there's no accountability in America anymore. None. People don't want to be accountable to anything. And accountability is good. And as a boss, you need it. And I mean, and I don't see anything, and I mean, and if you can't turn this into me, if my boss were to send out a message and say, Karen, get this back to me. And if I waited a month or 3 weeks and didn't respond to anything, one, I'm going to be getting phone calls. I'm going to be getting more email messages. I'm going to be, and it's going to be like,
have you done this yet?
You need to get this done and now. And you need to provide me proof you did it. I mean, so I have no qualms with what they're doing. It's only good business.
That's exactly it. It is good business. If you're a teacher, let's put it this way. If you were a teacher, when I was teaching, you had to provide for your administration your plans for the week, for every class that you taught. What you planned on doing, your, what we call them, objectives, rubrics, whatever you want to call
lesson
them.
Plans.
Lesson plans. And if you didn't do that, what are you doing?
Did you ever gripe and complain and not turn them in?
No. I will say it was kind of a joke because 2 of us did a team teaching. I taught the math and science and she taught the social studies and the English. And we would get tired of writing them, so we would carbon copy. Not that we didn't do them.
No.
It was just that we were being smart.
But see, back in the day, you couldn't do what you did. So
you have to
carbon copy. I understand that, but you still turned them in.
If you could not go into your job cold and not know what you're doing. For instance, if I said, okay, tomorrow I'm going to teach weather. All right, I know about weather. I'll go in tomorrow. All right, we're doing weather. Well, and now where are you going with that? Do you have the vocabulary that you need to give to the kids so they understand what you're talking about? Cold fronts, high pressure, low pressures, occluded front. So you got all these different things. isotherm. So, you have to write it down.
Well, and they're complaining because Musk is going in there so quickly. Musk has 2 years. He had a 2-year deadline.
Really?
To trim, yes, because
Wow.
Trump wanted it done before July of 2026, I think it was.
Hey, that gives him 2 years to straighten out what's been screwed up.
So, I mean, he's got a deadline himself. Plus, not to mention, folks, he's still making cars, he's still making rockets, he's still making things. So he's got to be available for his business as
He
well.
is what
So
we
he's
said, but he's a Renaissance man. He really is. I saw, did you see that one interview where somebody was saying, well, somebody said that you work for Putin? And he cracked it because he can't afford me. Really? Might be the other way around. He can't afford me.
I don't understand. Well, I do. They just want something to complain about. Plus, they don't want their little coffers to suddenly dry up because these are where the holes are in our.
Have you seen interviews with Pam Bondi?
I've seen a couple, not a lot.
They said, they asked her, and she said, well, I thought I would be fighting crime and not looking into fraud. And that seems to be what's happening.
But that is a crime.
That is. Where did we see? I saw somebody holding I've looked at a lot of podcasts. Sometimes I send them to you or you send them to me and we're looking at them and then I start looking. He had a bag of metal, I forget what he called them. They're just, you can buy them in a hardware stores like plugs or whatever. It's just a bag, no more than I would say maybe 2 pounds worth that the armed forces purchased. You know how much they paid for that bag? $90,000. $90,000!
You've heard about the toilet seats.
That was
it's just ridiculous.
The accountability is unbelievable.
And then not feeding our troops properly. See, to me, your priorities are not there. But see, that reminds me back in the days of the Civil War and stuff. The leaders and stuff were taking the food and not feeding the troops. When they were leaving Richmond and stuff, they had all the food and stuff on the trains, but then the food, our boys didn't have shoes. They had holes. Some of them didn't have shoes at all. They had holey socks. It's been through the test. Time. The government or the people in the upper echelon, they used to steal.
Keep reinventing the wheel? Do we go over? And again, I'm going to say it comes down to greed and power. There are a few that want the power and they're greedy and they want the money. I don't know, have you ever watched Yellowstone? Mm-hmm. Okay, we never watched Yellowstone. We watched, was it
1883 and then 1923.
Yeah, in the 1923 had their new season. We just watched the other day. I don't know if I can watch it all the time because it's really heavy. Mm-hmm. For me, it's very heavy, and I'm in a good mood now. Anyway, but the young is it Cherokee woman who escaped. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And she found her father. And she's sitting around a campfire and her father's talking. And I thought it was so interesting because he was telling about rulers who do less ruling and gives you the independence.
Which to me, that's what you would want.
You don't want...
You even do that too. To me, you do it if you're doing parenting correctly. At certain points,
you
start giving them a little bit, okay, all right, well, you make this decision, but they're still in a buffer zone to where, hey, if they fail, they're there and they've got a safety net, but you've got to give them, if they've got to learn to make mistakes and they've got to learn to fall, but at least when they're at home and with your parents, the parents and stuff, at least hopefully it's a good safety net.
That's right.
And a good learning place, because you don't want them to get out in the world and then fall. Because you're helping to teach life lessons. So every age is a little bit.
Well, and I'll tell you, Taylor Sheridan has written so many different things.
Yes.
And I listened to this just dialogue that this Native American father was telling his daughter about government run. And if you read some of the history of our country, they modeled a lot of it after Native American structure of how the different tribes worked. Mm-hmm. They did. you had just a few. You didn't have everybody bossing everyone around and controlling every single thing. You had nations that worked together, just like the states are working together. And his whole dialogue in that 1923, I turned to my husband and I said, wow, does he have that nailed? Because when you get too many bosses, when that governing body gets too big and tells everybody else what to do, you've lost everything. You've lost all your freedoms.
Well, did you hear Trump tell that governor?
Oh, yes,
we are the federal government. She goes, we're going to go by federal and state laws. And he goes, well, we are the federal. And we have made this, and I don't know, and he says, well, good luck, because you're not going to be able to find a job.
Yeah, that was funny. And I also heard today, now here's another interesting thing. He's been in office a month.
On the 20th it was, yes.
Yeah,
So about
a month. Okay, it'll be 5 weeks. And the southern border was like a colander with large holes. Right? Today, 200 people got across the southern border. 200. Compared to thousands. Now they're looking at the northern border, New York, because New York State is lenient. It has what did they call it? The blue law, that you don't have to help ICE get the illegals, the law enforcement.
To me, that's going against, that's doing illegally yourself.
That's right.
I mean, I don't get it, and that's illegal. If the law says that this is it, how can you go? I just don't understand.
That's why you don't. Then you might as well secede. Get out of this. You're not part of the United States. Become a state. Yeah. See how you like to survive on your own.
Well, let's put it this way. If they were to come in, because I do know that if they were to come in and trying to implement a law, though, to where you had to turn in your guns, we'd be fighting it. We would be fighting it. Even though it would be a law, there would be people going, we're not going to abide by it.
But that's the Second Amendment. I mean, there's no amendment that says you don't get to help the federal government get bad people.
What we're looking at is like the amendments, the Constitution, but still, I just wanted to get that out. Yes, we would stand up against the law in some instances.
Yes,
but if it goes against the Constitution.
But now, I mean, and they were the news I was listening to this morning said that more terrorists are coming across the northern border now. So now they've got to really look at that. And all these people who are upset, they're going to deport them and everything. Here's what I heard. If you came here illegally and you go and file, get your fingerprints done, and you file, then you can start living here legally.
I haven't heard that part. Okay.
Yeah, it was, you turn yourself in, have your fingerprints done.
Well, that just shows that you're trying to do something legal.
And get an ID, and because fingerprints, you're going to find out if you're a criminal or not. And if you're not a criminal, why should you care if you want to live here?
I mean, if we're giving you an open door, I haven't heard this part, but if we're giving you an open door, and we're saying, come on in, but do it this way.
I heard it this morning, as I said, when I was in the shower, I was thinking, wow, they're giving these people an avenue now to become legalized. If you're a criminal, forget it. You're going to go back.
And if you choose not to do this, you need to go back.
Exactly. And if you're caught, because that
kids or no kids, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm with you there. We sing to the cry of choir pretty often when we're together here.
And I'm not one of these that believe just because you were birthed here means that you are a citizen. Because if we were in Italy and if I gave birth in Italy, that doesn't make my child an Italian.
No.
Or it doesn't make it Chinese if I'm in China and I have a baby.
Right. And they were yes. And of course, that's if you're to be a president in the United States, you have to be born here. So that sort of opens up a whole other avenue. Do you know what I'm saying? We've got.
But born here, birthed here or born here?
Yeah. Oh, now there's a point here. Very interesting. Oh, that's a whole. So where were
It says
you
you're supposed to
before?
be a U.S. citizen then.
It would be nice if you were a citizen, but suppose your parents came over. Well, you were like my father. My father came when he was 6. He did not know anything about really much of a life in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
A patriot, yes, fought in World War II, but he could never have been a president.
Because he was not born here.
He was not born
He
here.
might have been a citizen and got his
Yeah.
citizenship, but he was not born here. So you have to have both.
Yes. So there's a line here now, because suppose there's some really, really good patriotic people, and you know they are, but they were never born here. Now they can go all the way up, they can be all the way, but they cannot be a president. And why is that? Because they're afraid that the president has too much power. Or maybe we should eliminate that part. It doesn't matter where you were born, it matters about your character and what you've done is proven. That's something to just think about, because who knows? I know that they've had a lot of, is it moles that come here and live their whole life, and then all of a sudden they're triggered to do what they're supposed to do as spies. I watched.
I guess I'm a loyalist to the extent that I feel, or a nationalist, because I feel like you really ought to be a U.S. born citizen to lead the country.
Well,
I just feel like that you should be.
I'm looking at it both ways, because could Elon Musk make a good president? And he wasn't born here. And yet he
Yeah,
is.
but then you wind up with the girl that's the senator in the Senate.
AOC?
No, the other one that's married, the one that's married to her brother. Omar. Anyway, I can't think of her name, but anyway.
Is she any good?
Omar.
Is she any good?
No.
No,
But I mean, I'm just saying, you could wind up with somebody, that has.
So that's thought provoking. That's just because I'm looking down the future. Look at my children were born in Korea. They were raised by Americans. They do not consider themselves foreign born. Mm-hmm. They were natural, but neither one of them could ever become president, even though they were raised by people who were born here. You see, there may be a shadowy area there.
Could be, but
I mean, I would trust my daughter or my son to be in power. I mean, and Jay or either one of them, but they couldn't, because they were born there and came as babies. They don't know anything about their 6 months in Korea. Mm-hmm. So think about that, and you just have to sort of think about that, because there are a lot of children that would fall into that category. Even some that were born in South America, some that were born in Africa, and they came here, as babies, raised by American-born, U.S.-born citizens to become citizens, and would they qualify? So there's a fine line to think about there.
it is. I don't think any other country would let one of us go in and be.
They probably wouldn't let us, but who knows? I could say I'm Italian, go over to Italy. I may have Italian. I wonder what I need for my Italian citizenship. My father was an Italian citizen. He was born there. Sometimes it's a dual type thing if your parents were born there. That would be good. I should find out. I should ask my cousins. They would always know.
Because you might be able to get you a villa over there, because they say they're really cheap,
Yes.
especially with you being the
I
Italian
might have to
descent.
repair it a little bit, but
Yeah, but
the house my father's family lived in was there. It was all made of rock. It was really kind of cool. I saw a little bit of
yeah, a
pictures.
lot of them look really good.
Yes. Maybe we should expand our.
We'll be traveling to Italy. It's on my bucket. It's on my bucket
Is it?
list.
Oh man.
It's on my bucket list. It's not on yours to go back and see your motherland.
I would like to go back. I just don't like to fly. I'm not a flyer.
Well, I get that. See, I don't like being trapped in any kind of tin can.
Yes.
I get it. I will fly, and I'm not scared of flying, but I don't like the closed-in part.
Yeah. No. Only if I could be the pilot, and I suck at being a pilot. So Could we take a cruise across?
I don't want to take a cruise. That's another tin can.
Yeah, but you get to go outside. You get to go outside and see the
No,
ocean.
but I mean, I can't swim to the shore. Of course,
No.
I can't do anything from a plane either, but
No. Yes.
I don't know.
Will you work on this for us? We're gonna have to bring him in as a guest again, because, I mean, he was just, so there's just so much that,
I think people need to just chill out, be patient. I know some people are saying, but the gas prices ain't down. Well, it's been 6 weeks, people. One, he has been working on the border. He has been working on other things. There are some things you can't drop the price immediately just because he came in. Some things have to take a little bit of time because, you know, like at the pump and stuff, I mean, people are paying for what they've already purchased. I mean, you're having to cover the cost of what you purchased. So some of it's going to take time. The egg situation, I don't even know.
that's because of the birds, a lot of the birds dying too. But there's a vaccine, so I don't know. I said to him, what's the vaccine for? Is it for the birds or for the humans catching it? Now, I know if you put oregano in the water, that is a really good, it helps, you know, take care of some of that disease.
No, I mean, just
there's a lag time.
enjoy this time. I mean,
There's a lag time. We produce so few things in the United States. So it's going to take time to get these companies back up and running.
but in some of these places, I mean, they had been shut down to
That's
where you can't
exactly.
drill because you can't drill. So now they've got to get them, like you said, back up and
Back
running.
up,
You got to
yeah.
get, you know, so anyway, I would say just enjoy because he's gotten a lot done in 6 weeks. More than the other one did in 4 years, so.
And the money, they're already talking about tax cuts. Mm-hmm. For
I hear that the Republicans passed a bill. I haven't looked at everything, but I don't think they did not do any major any major spending cutting. And that's
That
what
needs-
Republicans need to do. You need to get in there and you need to do your own part like Elon is doing and figure it out and cut stuff. We don't need to be spending a lot of money right
There's
now.
one senator there that just keeps voting no. And I'm like, you're really not, good thing you're retiring.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are not a conservative. You don't care about the people.
No, if
You don't care about the people at all. And I look at Facebook and there's one person and it surprises me, actually a couple. And they're just going on and on and on and on. And of course the comments saying, are you reading anything? Oh, so you want to pay all these, you want to pay for all this fraud. You want to have all that. I mean, look at the deal he just made with the Ukraine. To get mining rights, the minerals, that's worth millions of dollars. Mineral rights. So, yeah, they probably can't give us money, obviously, because they took money. But they have assets that they are going to be giving us. That's worth a lot.
well, at least it's a payback of some kind.
It is.
I mean, some of these other countries were doing that. They were setting up loans. We weren't even doing that. We just like, here, and here's some more, and here's some more, and here's some more.
It's just bleeding our dollars. And releasing, this just came through my mind, releasing classified information about JFK. That came out. He released that. Oswald didn't do anything.
I haven't heard it, so I haven't heard it yet, so I've got to go look
I
it
don't know
up.
if I said, yeah, you have to. I started reading it, I said, I knew this years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago. And
And Martin Luther King too. I'm curious about that one. I haven't read that one
I
yet
think
either.
I think that was part of it too. And LBJ,
He's a big crook.
well, this whole thing was pretty much initiated. Yep. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that everything is being uncovered and declassified, and
And we should be able to know.
you should know that.
Well,
Secrets.
a lot of us did, but you couldn't prove it.
You couldn't
and then
prove
it was just like, hey, don't talk about it.
I mean, I read the book. I think I got you a book, or we got a book. I have the book that I read about JFK and Lee Harvey Oswald. I found one of them. And RFK. The whole thing. was set up completely, and the
And your
sad
own
thing,
government's involved.
yes, and the sad thing is JFK knew that when he was doing some of this stuff, they're gonna kill me for doing this.
But he tried anyway.
And he tried anyway, and
Well, Reagan was doing some things, and that's why he got shot. Reagan was
yeah.
doing some of the similar things that JFK was trying to do, and he got shot. So they don't like you, and that's why Trump got shot. Because they don't want Trump doing things.
they do not want anyone that exposes or does something to help us. And why?
Well, one of the things, I don't know if you read it last night, I mean, which we love having Dan Bongino at the FBI as well.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But they are destroying servers. Some of the FBI employees are destroying servers. They are destroying information.
They should go to
And,
jail.
I know, as soon as Cash and Dan get it, I imagine some of them are. And
Because-
Christy Nome says that they've been finding the leaks and that they're in trouble. So if people are going to start getting, I hope we get to see it. Because, consequences have actions.
Okay, so if I were at school and I destroyed a computer that belonged to the school, you're in trouble. You are in trouble. I'm not saying it broke by accident. You destroyed it.
Yep. So lots more to come, but anyway, I still think we're on a good track.
Oh yes, I get a happy feeling several times a day. I'm like, thank you, Jesus, thank you, yes, thank you. Because finally, we're getting to know what's really happening behind the scenes. The swamp is getting drained, and all the snakes and the alligators and all those mean little boogers that live there are trying to hide.
Shining the light. And we need to do it more.
And they just, and then somebody went through, so Trump doesn't like women. How many women has he put in position? Really? Really?
That one is like, okay, go talk to the hand. I mean, there's so many things that's like, no, just stop talking. Stop talking.
They're just, and one is just as good as the other. He's having his first cabinet meeting, was it today?
Okay.
That should be very interesting. It's part of like a party. They'll get so much done because they're singing to the same choir.
I know. I love the unified
Isn't that wonderful?
voice.
I mean, they're all going to be working together. They're all going to be, yes, I'll do this, you do that, and it's a cooperation. And they're not going to be hiding in their own little corner, hiding the little money. Look at all of those, Kash Patel, Pete Hexter, all of those, Pam Bundy, was it
Christy Nome.
Christy Nome,
Yeah, I mean.
Gabbard?
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard.
But then you've got the energy guy.
And who's the woman in charge of education? I mean, she's really good. Things are not going to change that much. They aren't.
Yeah, I think they're going to change a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, in far like the education department, what have they been doing? Get rid of.
Yeah, we don't need the federal one.
No. What they can put some guidelines. The only guidelines I think they should have is make sure the kids can read and do math. Please,
Gotta
because
get us
if you
back
can
up.
read, you can do math. Read and math, you can do science, you can do everything. But if you can't read, you might as well. And if you can't do math, forget it. Go flip hamburgers.
All right, well, that's us for today. All right, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.